We are still in pentool101.ai from the previous lesson, and we will probably be here throughout this chapter, more or less. So, to be honest with you, there's nothing special about this particular document. You could open up something blank, it would be fine. Let's dig a little bit deeper into the pen tool by drawing a couple of, well, simple shapes. A straight line shape and a curve shape, and then look at how we might manipulate those shapes once they're drawn. So we pick up the pen tool, and we come over here and draw a triangle. That's about as simple as you can get. Straight line here, say down to here, over to here. Now I'll hold the Shift key so I get a straight line, and come back up here. Now I have what I would define as a wonky pyramid, because the top of the pyramid is off to the right. Now if I come back over and pick up my regular selection tool, Illustrator treats the object more like a hole. It allows me to do transform on it. I can make it bigger, smaller, go to a corner. Hold the Shift key if you want to keep in proportion. I can squeeze it in this way. I can, rotate it if I want to, I suppose. Let me reselect it again, get to a corner. All those things that we can do, but we haven't taken that point right there and moved it because we're treating it as a whole object. So we need to move that one point. Now we could go up over here to the direct selection tool, and that'd be fine, and come over here and select that point either by marqueing it, which is kind of easy, or clicking on it, which is just about as easy, and use the left or right arrow keys to get it where we want it to go. Or you could drag it too if you wanted to. But here's a shortcut for you. Let's go back to our regular selection tool. Shortcuts really are, in all programs, very important to understand, because they really are time savers. And I've mentioned this before in previous classes that I've done. As a matter of fact, I think I've mentioned it in every previous class that I've done for Infinite Skills. University studies showed that if you use shortcuts on like a religious basis, you just know them and you use them without thinking. They showed after a 2-year study, you have the opportunity to save 1 hour out of every 8 hours in a workday. That's not too bad when you think about it. So, how do I get to that tool without getting off the selection tool? Well, if you hold down a modifier key, it's the Control key, and that's the Command key on a Mac, Control key in Windows. While you have this one selected, you get the direct selection tool, which means I can come down here and select that point. Now let go, and I can use my arrow keys if I want to, and put that exactly where I want it to be. Or I could come down to these, hold the Control key down again, Command on a Mac, Control in Windows, and drag across and get those two, and pull it down. Now since I don't have the Control key held anymore, if I come back over and grab it, it's now back into do anything I want to in a transform fashion. So the Control key helps you drill down to the direct selection tool. Now don't forget the other one while you're drawing. If we come over here with the pen tool again and just draw another shape over here. This is my day for wonky. I'm just clicking. And then we close it off. Okay, fine. If I hold the Control key down here, Command key on a Mac, Control in Windows, I basically get the selection tool. So the Control key, Command key combination with the pen tool gives me the nice regular selection tool. If I have the regular selection tool selected, or just plain selection tool actually, and I hold the Control or Command key down, I get the direct selection tool. It's little things like that that really can save you time. Now these are all straight points. They're about as easy as anything. You just click and it creates a straight line between the 2 points. A curve point involves creating direction lines that bend the line based on the anchor point. Remember, the anchor is what holds all the information to draw the path. So if we come over and pick up our pen tool again, I tell you what, no, let's not do that. Let's come over here and pick up our ellipse tool, and let me draw a circle using that tool. Took me about, 2 seconds? And I have a perfect circle because I held the Shift key down. Now, in order for me to make that with that tool, it took 1, 2, 3, 4 anchor points. Understand something about an anchor point. An anchor point is the math that controls the path that we then fill to make our shape. But every time you add an anchor point to an image, it increases its complexity because the math has to be digested by the CPU in order to draw the image or to print it. So the more anchor points you have, the more complex your shape becomes. Now we've got absolutely nothing. We have that simple shape over on the right. We've got a 4-point circle and the amazing pen tool up there in Words. This is nothing. I have worked literally on documents that have hundreds of thousands of pen points. And when you try to print it or do something with it, sometimes it seems to take absolutely forever. Now, we do have things to simplify paths, but let me show you how to draw a circle using a pen tool. If you pick it up, and only with 2 points, by the way, if I come here, I want you to click and hold and drag. Now, I'm going to use the Shift key so I go straight up and down. Those direction lines influence to Adobe Illustrator the curving of the path. The more you drag down when you create the corresponding anchor, the more curved the path is going to be. So if I come over to about here, I'm going to click and then hold the Shift key down and drag the other way and try to get them about the same. So those little circles down on the bottom kind of match up about like that. I've got a semicircle. If I then come back over to this one, remember there are 1, 2, 3, 4 in this one. If I come back to this one and get the circle, click and then drag back down again, that's a little bit more of an oval, but that's all right. We can change that. I actually have a circle made with only 2 points. Now, is 2 points going to make or break anything? No. But as you continue to work, things can get complicated. Now here, basically, I would like to change that and pull it in and make a real circle, at least eyeball it. So this time I will pick up my direct selection tool up here and come over and just select that 1 point and use my arrow keys and bring it in. Now, in terms of functionality, the circle at the top and the circle at the bottom basically perform the same way. Once we have them, we can fill them, with patterns and gradients, use them as masks, whatever. However, I made that one with only 2 anchor points. And as you get into more complex shapes, you can control the pen tool in a more precise and economical way, maybe, sometimes, than some of the other tools we use. So straight lines or curved lines, controlling them with shortcut keys, all that is part of what the pen tool can do for you.